Welcome back to RC Tactical. Today I have my SCX24 Betty. I'm going to be changing out the tires to some RC4WD drive KM3s. I'm excited to try them. I think the compound will be a little bit better than these stock axial rock lizards. I do love the tread pattern on these. However, I'm getting a lot of slippage and I'd like to see if this will remedy it. This is the first step in trying to improve the traction. I think these will. They have a better surface area. We got a couple new obstacles on the course I'd like to show you guys later on when I do run this. I'm running the Treal wheels, and these are the weighted ones, so they have a little bit more, a little bit more beef to them compared to the other full aluminum or alloyed Treal wheels. I wanted to show you guys how I change these out, and if you want to check out the Instagram, I have a lot of photos that I post to there of different, of different RC cars, other people's, mine, all sorts of cool shots. If you want to check it out, it's RC Tactical on Instagram. I got some really cool stuff on there for you guys as well. So let's get to work. I will change these out. I'll show you, and then I'll show you how it runs later on. All right, let's go. I'm going to start by actually just taking the new tires out of the package, showing you guys them, and taking the tires, wheels off of the Betty. So let's go about that. Nice little decal sheets. It's a lot of little decals for 2 packages. I don't really need all of those, but we'll find something to do with them. Something fun, I'm sure. Always need little sponsors on our course and whatnot. So I can tell right away that these are stickier. You can hear that. Stickier than the tires. Obviously these are worn as well, so that's not a terrible surprise. I'm going to take these little foams out. Try not to ruin them. They are very fragile, so when you pull them out, be really easy because they may rip. And static is, look at that, static is not really cooperating with me today. You can tell the air's dry whenever it actually sticks to you like that. Like I said, I'm going to be going with no foams on this setup. I think that'll help me out as well. A little bit of squish. Okay. Now that I got these tires apart, set that over there. Set those here. And now I'm going to start taking the tires off the truck. The toolkit that I'm using is an Onyx one, and you can actually find it on Horizon Hobbies. It's not the best I've ever used, but it is pretty good and it has a lot of options, which is really nice whenever you're looking for small parts, big parts. I use this toolkit on both my small trucks and the 1/10 scale ones. And stay posted because the next video I'm going to be changing out the front differential gear on my blue SCX24. I got a spool a while back for it. I actually got 2. I replaced the rear one because it was slipping. It was already clicking, tick, 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 and it tightened everything up real nice in the rear end. Took wheel slop right out. However, little nut came out with it, so I'm betting, yep, this one still has it in as well. I was getting a lot of clicking in the rear ends. I put a new one in. I was fixed that right up, of course. However, unbeknownst to me, the tolerances on the SSD spools are tighter than that of the axial spools. Oops, forgot to take the tip off. So what happened was the rear end is way tighter than the front end. And I noticed while crawling that it would actually, under throttle, it'll, because the back end is tight and the front end is loose, and the front end has to catch up with the back end. So I'm going to change that out in the next video. If you've ever had to, that's the wrong size. If you've ever had to do that, then you already know what to do. However, if you've never actually had to change out any differential gears on an SCX10, then that video may be something you'd want to check out. I'm going to have to figure out what size this takes, because I cannot for the life of me remember. Maybe 0.09? That's too small. That's too big. Alright, let's hunt for the proper one, huh? Treal uses different sizes than axial, so I can't remember what size this actually is. Let's try that. Maybe it is the 050. Let's see what happens. That one took. That one came right out, but it's sticking to it. So you can tell a tolerance issue somewhere between maybe this toolkit, maybe these screws. It may be the toolkit. It wasn't a terribly expensive toolkit, so that may be the next upgrade. I don't think I Loctited any of these. I wouldn't Loctite on anything on these little things because it's so hard to get apart anyways. That you know, if you use even the lightest Loctite, you may be in for some trouble later on. Whatever the lightest Loctite is. I feel like it varies from brand to brand. Or I'm sorry, not Loctite, thread locker. Because there's lots of different brands of thread locker. Mine just says thread locker on it. It is not Loctite brand. However, Loctite is good stuff. I like their super glue. You can already tell the wheel's starting to loosen up. And these screws are incredibly small. And I was wrong. This does take an 050 driver. It just takes some finessing. So I'm going to change one for you guys and then speed up the rest and then show you how it looks. I'm not going to make you endure the whole every tire change because that is absolutely painful. And it's probably, I'm going to probably have to take a couple breaks because my hands are going to be killing me. So worth it though. I love these wheels. I love the look of them. And I'm thinking about changing the body on the Betty. So if you guys have any ideas on what body to put on this thing, especially an aftermarket one that a lot of people don't use, if If you have any good recommendations for sites that may have some decent bodies, let me know down below. Or if you have any questions, please shout them out. I love to answer questions, guys. I'm even thinking about maybe doing a Q&A. I'm not sure about what size, or maybe just a general Q&A, because I want to help you guys out any way I can, and any experience that I've had I'd love to share with you guys. And if I can't find an answer, I will definitely do everything I can to find the answer for you. From my shock video, I had a lot of questions, and I absolutely love that. And I even have a new shock setup since then that may interest you guys as well, and I've had a lot of success with it. I'm actually running, every single one of my rigs is running on that shock setup right now because I love it so much. So if you're interested in seeing that as well, please let me know, and I will do a video on that too. And this is a traditional 3-piece wheel. It just doesn't have any locking screws in the rear. Let's see if I can show you. Just uses all the locking screws in the front. This is the actual weight here. And then the front plate is just the locking plate. So let's put this wheel together. Looking at this tread pattern, it does not look to be, it kind of looks like it might be directional. Might be, I don't know, it doesn't say it's directional. And I'm not quite sure here. Let me see here. It does not look to be directional. If I remember correctly, and it's been a while since I've mounted these wheels, they're a pain, but they're worth it. Nice and centered. Nice and centered. Slip the back through. And these tires are pretty sticky. Let it inflate a little bit. Well, these are going to look nice. These are going to be real nice. I like them already. Let me make sure everything's nice and lined up first. See if I can get that down into that divot there. Like I said, with these small trucks, it takes a ton of patience if you want something done nicely and not strip anything out. That's a big thing, is stripping stuff out. Looks like I have the back seated real nicely, very nicely. So the front's gonna be the challenge, I believe. You could either back out this ring a little bit, or the center cap. And you can see that the lip around it is nice and seated. See if we can get the front nice and seated as well. And like I said, I'm trying to remember how I seated this before. And I'm sure there's other ways to do this, of course. There's always, you know what they say, there's many different ways to skin a cat. And I do not condone skinning cats or animal cruelty. It's just a colloquialism. All right. See if I can get that smushed down. That's the hard part. It looks like it's gonna set. So let me get a screw in there and see if I can get it to go. just gingerly get one started, pick up the next screw. These must be steel screws because they are magnetic. Some companies will cheap out and use an alloy that may not be as easy to magnetize. If it's an aluminum screw, then obviously you're not going to be able to, it's not going to magnetize to anything. It's non-ferrous. I really like these tires already. My grandfather is running some RC4 drives on one of his, and I cannot remember what it is, but I will get the answer for you. It's on his square body Chevy. He changes bodies all the time, so I can't remember which truck is which. Big thing to remember with these wheels is, and it almost just happened, I had to run it backwards, make it click, and then go in. It's really easy to cross thread these, and you don't want to do that. Please don't mind my shaky hand. These screws are, I mean, microscopic, and the fact that I literally have my morning coffee sitting next to me. So I don't know about you guys, I love my coffee, but it makes me shake, especially when working with these little guys and trying to be precise with stuff. Remember, when you're doing this, you do not want to since I took out the foam, you don't want to smash the tire. Try to hold it as gingerly as possible. You don't want to squish out any air while you're beating it, because then you'll have flat spots in it, unless you're trying to go for like a super air down effect. However, I feel like, and it's just me, and I mean, if you do it right, I'm sure you can get away with it, matching the amount of squish on every tire, you know what I mean? Like taking a little bit of air out of it. But I don't know if I'd be able to match every single one, so I'm not going that route. I'm gonna leave them aired up. If I have to vent them later on down the road, I might, but I really don't want to put a hole in a nice tire like this. And I believe I got these. I know I got these off A-Main. You know, your go-to store in at least in North America for RC parts. Have a lot of good stuff for crawlers. Wide selection, and you can find parts based on the model that you have, which is really handy. It's like the Crutchfield of RC cars. Another shout out, unintentionally, but almost have all the screws in. And I know it's been a little while since I've posted a video. You know how life gets away from you, and you got stuff, and always busy. But I love making content for you guys, and I love working on RC cars, and I love running them. So here we all are. Ta-da! All finished. So I'm going to get these mounted on the Betty and show you what she looks like. By the way, if you are unaware, these nuts are 4mm. So if you ever need that for future reference. And don't over tighten them. You just want them tight enough to catch that Teflon, or the nylon, I'm sorry. It's a nylock nut, just like on the bigger ones. You want it to be able to move freely, but you want it to be on so it doesn't have slop. So that's one down. Oh, drop the nut on the other side. Drop the other nut on the other side. If you ever run into a problem where you have extensions on and it's just too, and it's not catching enough thread, just spin the nylocks around. Nothing wrong with that. Now my hands don't work because of these small screws, so bear with me for a second. If you wonder why I may have rubber bands on the truck, you're like, what the heck? They're just limiting straps. I only wanted it to flex so much, and they work really good for what I'm using it for. It doesn't unload going up or down a steep ascent or descent. Works really nicely. Whenever you get that unload, then your weight shifts. Then you're trying to figure out where I need to add weight when all it needed was just something to limit the shock travel. If you have, flex is great for a lot of situations when you're going over rocks, but it's a linear type of surface. But whenever you're going up a steep hill, that doesn't work as good. That one almost wanted to cross thread on me, so I'm gonna loosen it and retighten it. And this driver head just barely clears those inner screws. You don't even have to have these inner screws on. They just left empty holes and extra screws, of course, just for appearances. It doesn't hold a hub or anything on. So there it is. Very nice. Very nice. That's just the angle there is just because of how it sits with the weight on it. All right. Awesome. I can't wait to try it out.